Okay, today we're going to walk through guided class practice 102A. I am going to expect you to do both 102A and then you're going to do 102B on your own. So we're going to walk through 102A together. Keep in mind, when we have this workspace area, I'm wanting you to use that workspace. Fill it up. If you have to fill it up bigger and write around your around your paper, do it, as long as it's helping you understand what you're learning. So, Whitney had 462 pennies and Alex had 137 pennies. Whitney gave Alex 184 of her pennies. How many pennies does Whitney have left? So I'm going to first underline my question. What am I looking for? I'm answering in pennies, right? And it gives me that keyword of left, meaning it's a subtraction problem. I'm going to bracket important information. Okay, so Whitney had 462 pennies, and she gave Alex 184 of her pennies. Though I could figure out what Alex has, I don't need to. That's not what my question is asking. Alex had 137 pennies is actually extraneous information. I don't need it. So I'm going to look at my two numbers here. And I want to think about what function am I doing with those? Am I adding those two or am I subtracting? That word gave and the word left are going to tell me I'm using a subtraction problem. So in my workspace, I'm going to do 462 minus 184. Now, in my brain, doing our subtraction algorithm where we put the numbers on top of each other, that makes the most sense to me. So that's how I'm going to solve this problem. I cannot take 4 away from 2 because 2 is a smaller number. So what do I have to do? I have to borrow. So 6 becomes 5 and 2 becomes 12. 12 minus 4 is 8. Okay, I don't have to carry anything. This is an addition problem, and that is less than 10 anyway. Now I'm going to come over to my tens, and 8 is bigger than 5. So I'm going to have to, again, borrow. So 4 becomes 3, and 5 becomes 15. So 15 minus 8 would be 7. Good. And now I have 3 minus 1, which equals 2. So how many pennies does Whitney have left? 278. Now, though I know these are cents, it tells me it wants me to tell it in pennies. I'm not going to use the change sign here. I'm going to use the word pennies. So my number sentence is going to be a subtraction one. It's going to be 462p minus 184p, and that equals 278, and I'm going to write the my label down here because I know on my answer I always write it out, pennies, and I'm going to rewrite my answer, 278 pennies. Okay. Number 2, the cost of the ruler is 58 cents. You give the clerk $1. How much change will you receive? What coins will you get? Oh, this is just what we just did. Okay, so we got a lot of practice with that over the last 2 days. So now we should be able to make those connections. So what am I going to round 58 to? I'm going to round it to 60. And just like in my chart here that we talked about, okay, I rounded 58 to 60. So I know that's 2 less. So then I have to add 2 to 40. Okay, so 40 plus 2 would be 42. I'm going to write this in the cents way, but you can choose to write it in the dollar sign and decimal way too. It's completely up to you. Okay, so what coins will I get? What about quarters? How many quarters could I get? You can get 1/4, so 1Q. I'm going to separate these with a comma. So give me 25. If I get a dime, it'll be 35. I can't go above 35, so I have 1 dime. Okay, so I have 35 cents. 5 more would give me 40. So I'm going to do 1 nickel. And how many pennies? 2 pennies. Okay, so let's just double check our work like good mathematicians. 25, 35, 40, 41, 42. Does it work? It does. Awesome. Okay, Michael saved $372 last year and $418 this year. What is the closest estimate of how much money he saved altogether? So when I think of estimates, I think of rounding. So above my numbers, I am going to round. Okay, so how would I round 372 to the nearest 100? Remember, I'm going to look at this number here, and I am going to round up to 400, okay, because 7 is above that 5 mark, that midway mark. And 418, would I round up or down there? I'm going to round down because 1 is below that midway 5 mark, okay? So so he saved 400 rounding last year and 400 rounding this year. Closest estimate of how much he saved all together. Bringing two things together, this is addition. So what is 400 plus 400? It's 800. Okay, what number sentence did you use to find the closest estimate? We've got it already written up here. Now we just need to write it here. I'm going to make dollars. $400 plus $400 equals $800. Okay. CO ate 2/3 of the oranges. Color the oranges he ate. Okay, so I have 3. How many out of 3 did he eat? He ate 2 of the 3. So I'm going to color those in. That would be 1/3, and then the second one would equal 2/3. Okay. Number 5. About how much might a book weigh? So let's think about this. 1 ounce. Okay, 1 ounce is a very small measurement of weight. 1 pound. Okay, so think about a pound. There's like a pound of, sometimes you can buy a pound of sugar. Okay, so it's a reasonable weight. 1 centimeter, we measure that in length, and 1 ton. Okay, so that's how much like a truck would weigh. So when we think about a book, which of these makes the most sense? I would go with 1 pound. Number 6, find the answers and check the subtraction by adding the answers. So we're going to start with our missing add end of 100. 28 can be rounded to 30 and be 2 less. So we already know 30 plus 70 equals 100. If this is 2 less, then 70 has to be 2 more. So this would be 72. If it helps you to like think about it this way and write that on there, do that. Mark all over your paper, whatever helps you solve your problem, okay? So 15 plus y equals 100. 15 I would round to 20. And our tens equation is 20 plus 80. So I have 5 less than 20. So I need to have 5 more than 80, which would be 85. Okay, let's do some subtraction over here. Okay. Oh, I have zeros. I know I can't take from those. Okay, so I'm going to borrow from the 9, make it an 8, and give myself 10 tens. But I'm going to actually make those 9 tens because I need to give $10 to my 1 so I can subtract here. So I have 10 ones minus 1 1 is 9. 9 minus 5 is 4. 8 minus 2 is 6. Okay, let's check our work. I'm going to do this in a separate color. Remember, I take these two numbers, I add them together. Our answer should equal 900. Okay? 1 plus 9 is 10. I'm going to carry my 1 here. 1 plus 5 is 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. I'm going to carry my 1 here. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 6 is 9. Does my answer work? Woo woo, it does. Okay. Now let's subtract here. I'm going to start by borrowing because I know I can't subtract anything besides 0 from 0. So I'm going to make this a 10 by borrowing from my tens area. 10 minus 8 is 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. 5 minus 2 is 3. Okay. Now I'm going to take these two numbers. I'm going to add them together. And 8 plus 2 is 10. Carry my 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. And 2 plus 3 is 5. So let's compare it. 540, is that the same as 540? Woo. Okay, so you now have the rest of this worksheet, the back side, okay? If you need to go back and rewatch parts of the video where we worked through this, do that, okay? I want this to be a tool for you. And then I want you to complete side B.